Minim said the only time most of us check our account balance is when unim say bibia drop it just to confirm say it be amount na promise or no and na drop it. But unya started to try. You do the calculations in your head. Sometimes you just ignore. And when say, "Oh, Eric, you do it, don't you?"
Oh, I do it now. The truth is, you pay pure. In fact, skebo tomumpa woniska. So about 50-60% is there of workers, especially public servants. That's
the thing.
And
because
so
wait, intimidate show.
Yes, when you don't have a problem, when you can. Okay, I won't say it.
Oh, now he wants to throw shades. He wants to throw shades. Mr. Anope, if you have any comments, don't forget our social media handles, TVXYZ Ghana. So it's Facebook, Twitter, and of course, Instagram. All send it comments, and also do not forget to hashtag XYZ Morning Update. And I said, also say, WhatsApp now, I'll send there. And also, 0556 999 999. Please, WhatsApp number and your call number. Say me can't be so still I'm going to fret in course of the show. Say if we want you to call through the show, we put the phone call numbers there. But some number way WhatsApp in why me pacho. Me that's it and see ever started newspaper headlines.
Yes, so let me start with the Ghanaian Times. Front page comes with the pictures of the First Lady and the Second Lady, and the headline says First, Second Ladies reject salaries. Rebecca Akufo-Addo refunds all allowances. So that's it on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. So if you come across this paper, you can read all the details. It comes with the excerpts of the letter announcing that the money has been paid. One paragraph says she paid 899.097 and 84 pesos, being the full refund for monies received within the period. And there's a paragraph which quotes something that says the First Lady is refunding to the Republic of Ghana the amount stated above, and also takes this opportunity to decline any allowance to be paid to her in future. So that's one bold paragraph in the letter to the Chief of Staff and copied to other related agencies. Now, the center spread talks about vaccines. Apparently, Ghana is going to take delivery of 1.2 million COVID-19 vaccines, which the Pfizer vaccines next week. That's good news, especially when the disease is spreading fast.
Yes, and most of us, most people have still not taken it. People ask me about it all the time. The front page of the Daily Graphic also covers the two First Ladies. It says experts demand national dialogue and kick against recommendations for First and Second Ladies. Now they've come out to say somebody say any problem.
Yeah, but you see, the intent is what people are. It's not. You see, they have embarrassed the First and Second Ladies. Some say they shouldn't be embarrassed because they knew that what was being given to them was not fair to Ghanaians, and so they should even have rejected it from day one. The conversation is it allowances that are being refunded, or what TUC claims to be the salaries paid and backdated. So that controversy is on. That's why the NDC MPs held a press conference yesterday and said that they are calling for an auditing of all monies paid to them. But yesterday I also listened to one of the NPP MPs, the MP for Xyz, after the NDC press conference, asking that Moses Kano, Adena Yedemanu illegal, or this kind of refunded. And still you are saying they should go and audit. What about some GMPC money and so on? So there are issues out there, but me DNA say obi to me boni trimu pop. Say me name say osimesi on yejuma. And look, I have the names of the. You see, many of us are not realizing that we should not even limit this to only Parliament and the people who sat on the committee. I'll mention the names of the people who sat on the committee. These are Professor Ya Intiamwa Bedu, who was the chairperson. Abraham Osei Edu, he has been a member of Parliament before. He sat on the committee. They are among these are Adrinwe Edebaye, Dr. Edward Kwapon. I'm sure that name rings a bell. Many people know him very well. Dr. Eric Odro Osai. This is another very popular name.
Is that your,
and then
is that your twin
we have
brother?
Stella Hannah Segbawu, Mrs. These are very well-known members of this country. And so
respected
sometimes you have
members.
to go a little further and look at what goes into the thinking of people we have respected so much, disregarding the law, pleasing their paymasters, and then allowing this to happen. Then at the end of the day, we have limited it. Rebecca Kufuado, Samira Baumwa. Meme Diani say, yes, you can hold them, you can hold the president particularly responsible because he has been a member of parliament before. He understands the constitution. But let us also look at the brains behind it.
Yes.
Someone
somebody posted in a group that I'm in, say we should actually be hailing Akufo-Addo because he's just bringing to light what has been happening in darkness.
What is happening in darkness is not the illegality that has deliberately been legitimized and approved through the back door, which has created all this. Nobody should try to rationalize it. Look, if you have ever been closer to anybody who is a prominent politician, you realize that at least, so to become a president with all the things around, look, people have brought out money paid to, let's say, the Rebecca Foundation by way of the privilege she holds as the husband of the president.
The wife.
And if you look at the quantum of money that have gone there with all this.
Exactly.
Look, have you thought about lecturers when they go on strike? They went on strike in series. It is affecting students who should be in school.
Yeah.
The emotional conditioning of these teachers are not readiness to teach with that love commitment because they are unhappy, their pockets are dry. And when they met, they said, National Labour Commission, oh, let's defer it to August. Let's defer payment to this time. But we have money to do other things.
So our president is saying that you don't go into teaching to become a millionaire, ain't he?
The Herald on its front page.
Take your time.
Yes, because you want to disturb me this morning.
Take your time, please.
To make me angry.
I'm not done with my papers. It's also here on the front page of the Daily Graphic. World Bank to release 200 million for Ghana's COVID-19 vaccines. Now, in the center spread, the president is urging wild residents to put military brutalities behind them. Whereas one of the witnesses in this killing, he's saying that his wife has been hiding for telling the truth, which is...
so this happened how many days now? This has happened so many days ago. This has happened. A committee has sat. A minister has come to Parliament to brief the House about the measures put in place to sanction those involved. After so many days, the president goes to Upper West. Even it didn't start from there. He went to other areas and then tells people of Upper West that I have come to this region to come and apologize to you for what happened some weeks ago. So where is the genuineness in the apology? I totally disagree. I see it as one of the cosmetic things the politicians do.
President in Anyways, on the back page, it's talking about a no-show on the Tema Industrial Area Pond Road. Sword has been cut 11 months ago, and still pictures.
Have you used that stretch before?
I have.
Because it is terrible. The gateway to my hometown.
Oh yeah.
And when you're approaching that enclave, the traffic, especially. So you can't go anywhere during the weekend. Sorry, during the week. Weekend, so then
Eric,
you go to traffic.
I want to mention Accra.
No, Accra is too noisy.
Hey!
Have you gone to Pram Pram before?
Yeah.
One of the beautiful enclaves.
Yes.
I wish I have money to put a mansion at.
Once there is life,
there is hope.
Yes.
Okay. So the Herald on its front page says, pressure mounts on Chief Justice to step aside. An independent probe into $5 million bribery allegation against him is pending. And we have angry First Lady fires refund note to Chief Justice but hides bank transactions. And Akufo-Addo only paying lip service to corruption fight. Martin Amidu has issued another long letter again.
Poultry sector is reported on the front page of the Business and Financial Times to be on verge of collapse. It says despite PFJ's gains, inadequate raw materials also linger. Now the sector loses more than $5 million to the pandemic. Millions of jobs on the line, and food security also is under threat.
Okay. So let me quickly look at the Chronicle. Yesterday, you know, the NDC addressed the news conference. And so we'll share the last 3 or 4 minutes playing back excerpts of what Johnson Asiedu Nketia said. Abna, or okay, so Chronicle on its front page says, Munje Musika, Rebecca and Samira pay back controversial allowances. And there's also another pressure that is mounting, that Lodina Mahama must also pay back all her allowance. And I've seen a cartoon with Rollins and this is boy, how do you call it, Ernesto Yeboah. And Mrs. Rollins was showing her phone to Ernesto Yeboah, and the caption was Pacho share the Momo accounts balance na kano bet me the TR refund, and I will share that picture if I get it again.
I swear I love Ghana. I love Ghana. We always find humor
because Mrs. Konedo Acho from Ghana Waboka Nebusia Faboka. Let's listen to Johnson Asiedu Nketia now.
We are deeply concerned that if this matter is not handled with utmost transparency and the required seriousness, it could compromise public confidence in the judiciary and roll back the many gains that we have made in our forward march as a viable democratic state. In this regard, and without taking sides or commenting on the merits or otherwise of the said allegations of bribery against His Lordship the Chief Justice, we believe that an investigation by the Police Criminal Investigation Department would be woefully inadequate. We are now confronted with a very dicey situation where it is the word of lawyer Kwesi Afrifa on the one hand against the word of the Chief Justice and the said chief, who is alleged to have paid the bribe in question, on the other hand. As I have already explained, the issue has dire consequences for the reputation of not just the judiciary or the person of the Chief Justice himself, but our revered chieftaincy institution and the country as a whole. The question is, whose account among the three should we believe as a country? Who is telling us the truth? Is it the Chief Justice and Nana Ojedom, or is it lawyer Kwesi Afrifa? We believe that only fair and transparent investigations can establish the truth in this matter. And we hold the opinion that the transparent approach of a public inquiry is the best way to go. This approach, we believe, is in the interest of the Chief Justice and the lawyer who both stand accused, and the Chief Justice and his accuser. The likelihood for an impartial and balanced investigation by them into this matter will be quite minimal, so long as the Chief Justice remains at post. We therefore believe that the General Legal Council should stay its hands off over this matter pending the final determination of the issue by independent state organizations clothed with requisite authority to do so. Best practice will require that the Chief Justice steps aside temporarily until the matters are looked into and a clear outcome emerges. And we believe this instance calls for such an action. Friends from the media, in making these calls, We are guided by the supreme interest of governance and the preservation of the image of critical state institutions like the judiciary and its leaders, especially.
Mevacho, General Secretary for NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. He's my role model in a way.
I know you love him.
I do.
So just stop. I'll cut that I know you love him. I do. And send out the Wisdom Hedejome will present the news shortly.
We are one-man short. Should we invite him?
Yeah.
It be old cargo.
Can I join you guys?
Yeah. Always drink fresh, natural, mix, mineral, water.
You still got it. Always keep hydrated naturally. That's my secret.
Manufactured with the primary aim of preserving nature's finest minerals necessary for a healthy mind and body. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
Welcome to AutoCheck Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to so many Accra.
Sure.
Emission, check.
Alignment, check.
Brakes, check. Visit AutoChecks at Koforodia Aquadum Road for the road readiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much. AutoChecks, check.
AutoChecks, your safety, our priority.
Check, AutoChecks.
14/7/21. Hello and welcome. In this edition, NDC demands bipartisan investigations into $5 million bribery allegation against Chief Justice, warning that police CID or General Legal Counsel's route may end up deepening mistrust fueled by past event. Minority in Parliament welcomes refund by first and second ladies, but wants an audit to authenticate figures quoted. Also in this bulletin, Shraj petitioned over recent brutalities on indigents of La and journalists by soldiers deployed to protect the disputed Plejo lands. This morning, we shall speak to the petitioner, and a little later, the Ghana 2021 Integrity Awards is being launched. We have details of these and others coming up. Please stay with us. Grateful that you could join us. My name is Wisdom Hedejime. Let's begin the stories from the camp of the NDC, and it has joined calls on the Chief Justice to step aside in the interest of the state to prevent the already sunken image of the judiciary from getting worse over poor management of serious bribery allegations leveled against the Chief Justice. Now, General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asedu Nketia, who addressed a news conference yesterday, said, among other things, transparency in the covering the truth of the interest of Ghanaians, the investment community, and the international community closely monitoring the event. The NDC cites several reasons for their demand. First, the gravity of the allegation, a whopping $5 million demanded to manipulate the outcome of a ruling, investor interest, and measures that will protect the sanctity of the judiciary. NDC General Secretary Johnson Asedu Nketia, who addressed a news conference yesterday, noted with concerns that doubts harbored over the integrity of the judiciary and its leadership has the potential to completely erode public confidence in the administration of justice in Ghana and our governance institutions as a whole. Mr. Asedu Nketia explains that without prejudice, the allegation against the Chief Justice is very grave and, if poorly handled, could have grave consequences.
We are deeply concerned that if this matter is not handled with utmost transparency and the required seriousness, it could compromise public confidence in the judiciary and roll back the many gains that we have made in our forward march as a viable democratic state. In this regard, and without taking sides or commenting on the merits or otherwise of the said allegations of bribery against His Lordship the Chief Justice, we believe that an investigation by the Police Criminal Investigation Department would be woefully inadequate.
The party said referral of the case to the General Legal Counsel is purely cosmetic as long as the Chief Justice remains at post.
The likelihood for an impartial and balanced investigation by them into this matter will be quite minimal, so long as the Chief Justice remains at post. We therefore believe that the General Legal Counsel should stay its hands off over this matter pending the final determination of the issue by independent state organizations clothed with requisite authority to do so. Best practice will require that the Chief Justice steps aside temporarily until the matters are looked into and a clear outcome emerges, and we believe this instance calls for such an action. Friends from the media, in making these calls, we are guided by the supreme interests of governance and the preservation of the image of critical state institutions like the judiciary and its leaders, especially the Chief Justice. No iota of doubt must remain about its integrity and credibility, and it is absolutely imperative that everything is done to guarantee.
Mr. Asedu Nketia admits lawyer Akwesi Efrifa could have been acting out of bitterness as suggested in the CJ's reaction in his petition to the police, but it will be in the interest of the state if an independent public inquiry is established.
We are now confronted with a very dicey situation where it is the word of lawyer Akwesi Efrifa on the one hand against the word of the Chief Justice and the said chief, who is alleged to have paid the bribe in question, on the other hand. As I have already explained, the issue has dire consequences for the reputation of not just the judiciary or the person of the Chief Justice himself, but our revered chieftaincy institution and the country as a whole. The question is, whose account among the three should we believe as a country? Who is telling us the truth? Is it the Chief Justice and Nana Ojedom, or is it Lawyer Kwesi Frifa? We believe that only fair and transparent investigations can establish the truth in this matter. And we hold the opinion that the transparent approach of a public inquiry is the best way to go. This approach, we believe, is in the interest of the Chief Justice and the lawyer who both stand accused, and the Chief Justice and his accuser.
And still on governance issues, the minority in Parliament has welcomed the decision by the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, and Samira Bawumia to refund close to 1.8 million cedis to the state following the backlash over the president's decision to pay them as cabinet ministers. The NDC MPs are, however, questioning the mode of payment to the two spouses of the president and his vice over the past 4 years, for which they are quoting the figures mentioned.
The decision by both First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo and the Second Lady Samira Bawumia to refund close to 1.8 million cedis follows widespread public condemnation and attacks by critics. The spouses of the first two gentlemen are particularly hurt by comments suggesting pure greed and insensitiveness to the plight of poor Ghanaians. This amount, according to them, was backdated to January 7, 2017, when the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, resumed office to date. Yesterday, the office of the First Lady forwarded a consolidated Bank of Ghana check of 899,000 cedis as indicated in a letter addressed to the Chief of Staff on Tuesday and copied to the Chief Director at the Jubilee House. The minority in Parliament welcomes their decision to return monies received, but they have questioned how they arrived at the figure. Deputy Minority Leader James Kluche Aveji addressed the media.
You are aware that the issue about payment of salaries to the First and the Second Ladies, which have been captured by the Presidential Emolument Report on the Article 71. Just yesterday, we saw a letter written by the Office of the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, that she is prepared to refund the money, and she computed the money herself to the tune of 899,000 plus. And this afternoon we saw another letter written from her office also refunding the money to Office of the President. So we are here this evening to ask few questions and to also demand from her office to respond. The first question is that since 2017 that she started receiving this salary, that doesn't mean that she doesn't spend the money and she kept the money in her account all this while. If the answer is yes, it means that she did not need the money. So why did she take the money in the first place? If that is the case, refunding the money now.
Dr. Veji, who is also the MP for Ketu North, raised other critical issues. He said, if the First Lady, for example, was never interested in any state funds, why will she use her NGO to milk other state institutions? The reaction by NDC MPs has been described as populist by colleagues on the majority side.
First Lady and the Second Lady, first of all, to ascertain that the money she refunded is the money that she actually received. Two, also to compute the interest that that money would have accrued if that money had been put into any interest-bearing account, so that that money will also be refunded. The interest component should also be refunded. Third, to ascertain whether there is sufficient money in the account so the check that she has issued will not bounce. If she's now refunding the money, it means that she's not interested in any state fund. For that matter, all state funding of her NGO should also be audited by the Auditor General, and then all those money should also be refunded to the state, because she's not interested in receiving state sponsorship support.
Former Maslok Chief Executive Dr. Stephen Amwa, who is now MP for Nshaeso, disagreed with the MP for Bulsa South, Dr. Clementa Park, when TV XYZ News sought their reaction.
Sir, omo say enumpo bibia emfore ho a obia agietum say a free Kunedu Ajima Rollins eba Teresa Kufo eba Lodina Mama Abedu Rebecca Akufo-Addo say omo mu dia omaje no omo sande ama Ghana for dia eya omo pe obia ndi enu ho achinie asem na aba no e dey gina ho enti say omaka say omope de yese yemfa mo a yenyina ya so retie yo de de ama omo a hwe embata ho a omo so omo di san yo yen de asem a de ahoda court no yenyi mfiri ho was court no emamwaye de ye ya yese yentumi entua first and second lady ka under article 71 yen ya asem no the Omayo de a yomope, but I don't know entry. Say yan ye be ya asem ne fu court.
Can mo complain, say omumpe. Omokrano, your trouble, not omon trust o masset and omasset. Allowances the whole free teacher. Now president, now present executive body before say allowances between a movie for Quenviso, actually secure the how mine. Into young regularizing and then yet transparent, you mean how come. Send your baby to me abuse that opportunity. Then can the papa near pen and a Ghana for us way. Or they say, yes, opposition now, woman can me a passing, much as I can. And also on a crown pump. Can open no when you mind it. If you said no, if you said the way, Ghana for Bunto me and said, if you see other or the other, or yeah, then you uncle. More complaints as you can go. I say I paid you on person, Miss Boy. Ain't it dear no more person first lady? On my kind. Oma Kasan, Oma may define exactly what they want the first lady to do. But me before say what she's done is the best thing.
Now a private citizen of Ghana and native of La Prince Derek Ajay has petitioned the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, to investigate the military brutalities meted out against protesting indigents of La and journalists covering the event by soldiers deployed to protect the Lecho lands at La. Now, the Military High Command has since apologized, but the impasse is still unresolved. It has also promised an investigation, but to date, there has not been any update compared to the speed with which the Wa incident was handled. In his petition, Prince Derek Ajay, among other things, is seeking findings into the role of supervisory ministries and recommendations that will end such high-handed assault. And Prince Derek Ajay joins me over the phone for a brief comment. So, Prince, good morning and many thanks for your time. First of all, the Military High Command accepted responsibility. It then apologized. Why SHRAJ now? Isn't that an overkill, Prince?
Well, first and foremost, an apology for assault, an apology for shooting by the military cannot be acceptable. In fact, this morning, I have heard the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the Republic, in Wa, also apologizing and asking for the people of Wa, including the chiefs and Ghanaians at large, to forgive and move on. Is this acceptable? Ejura people were shot and killed. Is it a case of forgive and move on? Why was the Commission of Inquiry put in place? I think that we must get serious in this country. Wherever there is shooting, whether by the police, the military, or even civilians, there must be an inquiry. And there must be a audit. Otherwise, we will have a recurrence and the impunity will only go up. The President, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Interior cannot be telling us that we should just forgive and move on. Lives have been lost, limbs have been lost, properties have been stolen. And I think that let me just home in on the last issue.
No, Prince, if you can just indulge me, we didn't record any death as far as we are concerned regarding that assault on that faithful day on the 15th of April. Unless you have other figures we did not get information
No, I'm saying that in La occurred before Ejura and before Wa. The president is in Wa. He has not been to La. The military high command have been to Wa to apologize. They have not been to La to apologize. The sequence of events has been turned on its head. Why didn't the military high command and the president and the minister of defense find it necessary to go to La in April, but have found it necessary to go to Wa at this time? That's the issue. Now, La. Injuries were recorded, properties, including vehicles, were destroyed. The military stole people's phones and laptops. Journalists were beaten and maimed. In Ejura, people were killed by the military. Is the president and the minister of defense and interior telling Ghanaians to forgive and move on in all these instances of injury, brutalities, death, and stolen property?
Okay, so Prince, what really are you and the other victims expecting from Xyz? Compensation?
Compensation for the people in Ejura who died would suffice. Is that the case? The people who have been injured in La and the people who were beaten, including pregnant women in Wa, compensation? What kind of compensation? Nobody wants compensation. What justice? You see, there must be due process. The military are not expected to be engaged in civil duties. They come to shoot and kill. They are trained to kill. And so anybody who deployed the military must be brought to book. They are criminals. They must be arrested and prosecuted. The military who shot at people, the military who beat people, must be arrested and prosecuted publicly. They cannot be treated as sacred cows in private. That is the issue. And there are investigative bodies. In fact, in the case of La, there were senior police officers present. The director of, the regional director of operations, Mr. Kwesi Fori, was there. The commander of cantonments was there. The commander of Peshi, that's La, was there. Now, whenever a crime is committed in the absence of the police are obliged to investigate. And so if a crime is being committed by the military in the presence of the military at the highest level, has the police conducted an investigation?
Okay.
Where is the report?
All right.
The military high command promised an investigation. Where is the report? Those are the issues. We want to see the report of these statutory institutions. In fact, the Media Commission was also petitioned because journalists were beaten. I'm sure your journalist was there.
All right, Prince. Point well noted. Thank you so much for making time to talk to us this morning. We're most grateful. Prince Derek Ajay is a private citizen of Ghana and a native of La. Let's turn attention to some other stories. And for 2021 Ghana Integrity Awards has been launched. Now, lead organizers, Ghana Integrity Initiative, is calling on the public to pick up nomination forms. Ghana Integrity Awards, a bold initiative by anti-graft bodies led by Ghana Integrity Initiative, aims at promoting anti-corruption in public life. The biennial awards recognizes outstanding individuals, public and private sector institutions upholding personal and professional integrity, verifiable steps at reducing the canker, depriving the state of millions of cedis siphoned into private pockets. In the keynote address, Deputy Shraj Commissioner Richard Kwesi noted with consent the psyche of society, which appears not to place value on integrity, but rather wealth without verifying the source.
The pervasive corruption, indiscipline, and lawlessness we see today did not start today and will not end anytime soon if we cannot be honest about the root cause of the problem. That is, that we do not value or put premium on integrity in our society. We don't care how we make money. We don't care how we build wealth. All that we care is that we want it.
Key among the objectives is to use the award scheme as motivation to influence positive behavior. Others including highlighting positive actions or initiatives to serve as guidelines for role models of society. Executive Director of Ghana Integrity Initiative, Lenda Oforikwafo, could not say more.
Corruption being a threat to our economies and societies has been said in many times and in many different ways. Corruption destroys human progress. It corrodes the foundations of our societies our economies, and our well-being. It feeds inequalities, distorts markets, finances wars and terrorism, helps smuggle people, guns, and drugs, diverting public and private funds into illicit activities.
Lenda Oforekwafo, who is also the board chair of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, urged stakeholders to pick nomination forms.
As the crime and its perpetrators become more sophisticated, as society develops, the Ghana Integrity Initiative has recognized the critical importance to complement the sanctions regime with an award system that supports the preventive approach to the fight against corruption.
Categories of awards were presented during the inaugural awards, including Policy and Administrative Reforms category, Transparency and Social Accountability category, Efficient Public Service Delivery category, Effective Internal Controls Enforcement category, and Integrity Personality of the Year. Now let's end with some politics and the fight over who becomes the next MC for Ayawaso West Wogon constituency continues as the presiding member for that electoral area jumps into the defense of Sandra Owusu Ahenkra. Now he's daring those asking the president not to reappoint her to justify their claims.
A tango over who becomes the next municipal chief executive for Ayawaso West Wogon has been foiled by attacks on the MCE by a group led by the former assembly member for Airport Roman Ridge electoral area, Samuel Dua. On Monday, they addressed a news conference asking the president to drop plans to reappoint her for what they described as incompetence, indiscretion, and indiscriminate sale of lands.
Sir, we hear green bet, East Legon police station, October 2018. Na encophobia, woman casadu or mope. Afa and Sassini be, I was a green bet line is one. Me, I'm TSA. Me to me, secure those lands now at my state, you know. So, nobody want dance here. One, I'm more, I say, one, I'm a cahono. That's when I'm no can say, Sassini, Nano, Yavisha, you, a quiddy anchor and some. Now, I quite say a minimum swore. Jubilee House or what? One more time, my minute. It's your best area, Kufado. Say, a cabani say. Oh, you MCs in Ibia Mudia. Sandra dear, what you know. Now, so you Sandra dear, and the good people of Ayawaso West, we shall resist.
But the presiding member of the assembly, Benjamin Northe Okla, has rubbished those allegations. Benjamin Northe Okla, who is also the assemblyman for the East Legon electoral area, accused the group of prosecuting an agenda for faceless lobbyists and challenged them to back their claims with evidence.
Me a member of audit committee and tiska be a faso nya pio and ti say obi be kasa me na me kasa as a presiding member say ne ekoso ade no mu fa contract mo me no di contract akomo bi but nipa no mu di contract no amanu or ye adwuma no to our satisfaction and ti me me there because be legacy amam say through my presiding leadership no na ye sa development and ti so be ye development ama we be say he described
the acting MCE, Sandra Owusu Ahenkra, as affable, team player and a result-oriented person who needs motivation and not sabotage.
Say, you can say, MCE, but me presiding member and assembly members no, see, I not to me say, MCE, ne no. Assembly members crapo yankasa ye she say oh ye pese we nto aso enti yankasa ye 4 months say ye pese ye endorse no na ye enforce obi ha o enti as soon as assembly members no tipe obi haba oh me pese me endorse we are 19 in number but immediate to 40 number omunya be endorse enti.
And morning update continues shortly. My name is Weston Heather. Many thanks for your watching pleasure. Good morning.
Welcome to the Royal Dazzle Event Center. With a lush and well-maintained lawn and garden, you are assured of the best serene and comfortable atmosphere to organize all your family and social events. Live the royal moments here with friends and family. The hosting capacity of 600 to 800 people makes Royal Dazzle the most versatile of places to host weddings, parties, funerals, conferences, concerts, and many more. Create your memories with us. Call us for inquiries on 055-814-8585 or 024-620-2144, or pass by and speak to any of our friendly staff. Locate us at Myjohn, close to Zoom Lion headquarters. Royal Dazzle Event Center, creating memories.
Still the morning update on TV XYZ. My name is Nana Abena Sewa, and I'm sure when you see me after Wisdom, you know what is happening. We are about to talk, especially today being a Wednesday, we are coming to talk something health. Today be a utseho. Sorry, at once Nana when you so itching. I'll say I feel drowsy. Everyone also say my head is spinning. So many synonyms this disease have, but mostly we just play with it. Just 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden I started feeling dizzy, and I'm a bit there was this lady just passing by, and a friend so told me, "Mom, I still didn't go to the hospital." Can you imagine this? And I'm sure you are guilty of it as well. And then we have a health practitioner in the house. His name is Mr. Crispa Anyome. I got his.
Correct.
Good morning.
Good morning.
He is actually with the police clinic. That is a subsidiary of the police hospital, right?
That's right.
Can you tell us a little bit, how different is that from the police hospital? That is, if there is any difference at all.
The only difference is police clinic is a clinic whereby we see minor cases.
Oh, okay.
It's open to the public. It's open to everybody, the police personnel, their dependents. But we treat minor cases, and when I talk about minor cases, I'm just saying nothing about hypertension. Hypertension is not a minor case.
Okay.
Diabetes is not a minor case, and then asthma is not a minor case.
Okay.
So we deal basically, I would say, minor cases.
Like dizziness.
Dizziness is done everywhere. Every health facility will really do something about dizziness.
Right.
And then if there is a need for referral, then that person will do so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So again, if you just tuned in, this is the Morning Update TV XYZ, always brought to you by X Natural Mineral Water, simply natural. And this morning we are discussing dizziness. I got it in tree, right?
Yes, that's right.
It's Mr. of a pen and paper, not X Natural Mineral Water, and so please take us through dizziness as a general overview of the ailment.
Right. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm so delighted. When we talk about dizziness, and I say as Abner rightly said, it's just a basic thing that people downplay. When I say people downplay, only few people will really act and say, oh, wait there, majority of us downplay it. So when it's reaching, and I say dizziness, it's just about your face spinning around. Or more typical cancer, obviously, maniso. They don't even have time to say maniso chime. They say maniso. And maniso means dizziness.
Okay.
Some people will use different words or different things to mean and switching, like blackout. Ma fainty or fainty, then people do a lot of things, maybe pouring water and a whole lot, which are really not the best. But and switching referred to as in the hospital or health sector, serious. So we really consider it very important.
Okay. I told a few people said they have been discussing dizziness. Some say, no, been discussing the same dizziness. They say it's a symptom of a major ailment, and they didn't understand why we singled it out to talk about it as a general thing. Can we delve a little deeper into it for such people to understand?
Yes, like I rightly said, dizziness should not be downplayed. And but they are also allowed to look at it that way. As someone to me who say, oh, yes, serious. But Osha Enyama Edebano and how Bung said, Miami home. Can you imagine that say wasum etaya oya when you submit to me very easily? And how do you know say they are related? Wako wetu anamon akoshe wasum eya oyano. And then people who have hypertension, BP and I say hypertension, if you say mojabroso and young mojabroso, pressure na costro. A banasana, when you submit you, obi ho na kuma to me bon tem, obi ho na kumano, and more tem, and below the average. Like, you see a kind, and I say a check your pulse, and I say below 60. Can who say, and it's chimbe to me about also.
Okay.
Obi ho, ebia. Is between the reproductive age time of it.
Doctor, so course is now yeah
right.
Okay.
Right.
Temperature also.
Or reproductive age or back clinic. Yes, then I see on any soon now or then they see also say be sabusan and some my wondering cause abia no if it's or reproductive age. Yen sense to bet me maden and the switching. Obi ho ebia wanyensen but nyensen no ankoto awudie nu enti kan hu say ectopic na arapture na say eni awudie nu no require very serious in that aspect. No let me say all the conditions are here friend acute abdomen to say ebia hernia people look at it like a simple thing, but when it gets strangulated and now say hernia ba na eba na say anya simple one na say complicated kan hu say when isu bechin wo obi wo ho and is doing na kan hu say emframa and say oxygen say edu brain no ho na what to me anya balancing no because balancing na ira say o hwe obi a utumi say on balance no obi si say ni nyina efi adwen na ebia sugar and I say carbohydrate ain't to me do adwene no ho and a man ni suchi no wo hwe obi a oxygen endu no e bia den na oxygen endu obi adwene ho wo se hwe a obi say bi gina soro me hwe form a na mani su ya me den echi me enti ebi no height e mo mani suchi ho right
phobia for height.
Yes. And e bia wo tu kwan go as far as maybe Japan, to call London, to call South Africa, call short distance, and now I got to plane, and you have traveled so many hours at a higher altitude. And I said, plane now cost to say, and near maybe cost we when you.
Okay.
All these things, say a cat near the baba, be a crown, crying. Yes. And for now, no, okay.
And since we are treating this as a disease or an ailment on its own, how do I prevent myself from getting disease? Also, assume is related. It clicked for me because for some days now I am assume and I've been feeling dizzy. I know at this point I have to go to the hospital. Okay. But how do I prevent myself from getting all of these or getting to this point?
That's a good question. Prevention, once I name idea edebano, the prevention should be also not far from the causes. For instance, so what for your phone, who say what for your phone, now starting whole hospital. Say hypertension and I say BP, who say BP, ben man cost runs and work hospital. Intinia we know now avoid it set when you should be chin. Fana say was we are to say send sister Abnaka or send us here and Chibiana and you saw that 18 and I said we feel dizzy. And no born Kaya say Mientia was here I will feel dizzy no. Was some inside inner ear no bibi wo a control and balancing because of what is happening. It may be infection na koka balancing system na answer no bia benati all balancing hono. The most important thing in us bibi e wo ye asum. It asum in this matter is very serious.
Okay.
Other infections like obisi or sinus obisi sinus no infection no and also betumi ama wani so echi.
Okay.
Enti say unim say wasore anopa obi say common de me enti on didi once a when didi no sugar to the brain will be low and once it's low when is bechi.
Okay. Okay.
And again say wu tu kwan na kwan no wa the say na me kan say obi ko Japan obi ko ha na say unim say wo that problem ma a medical team for who say what that problem. Not to quite know in short transit. That's right. That's right. Oh, me that's it. Where do we na irame?
And it's partial transfer.
And you know, prevention the bano and na ubebo ho ban. Miro if man can be a member no teach you obi to me bu osori no pa for am first obefa jot. Not their call private or coba or starting ebu because you or no mansa because or no mansa and ye fanta or no and sa and no ding to sapitishi locally people call it. Sahadia now wo ye no already you see carbohydrate and as energy and as sugar to the brain. Definitely and it's chino beba ain't it na wunya ensa no nom. Because I know Cherem says a TFOT and it is a and size will be in a day. No, yet we can say a 1 tot. 1 tot, no, yeah, about 30 mils. I say in paracetamol, a cover no, oh no, my no me and sa a day. But we back say, hey, obisi, hey, what here? Obisi, now 3 tots, 1 tot, they say more, 1 tot, no. And our body be to me higher than a handle into no
right now many who say ebia my sanya mayor was a me I've started feeling the dizziness ebia 1 day 2 days 3 days. At what point do I go to the hospital and how do I even manage this?
Beautiful ebia wo adwumam to say sanya wo hai and awani suchi anuano mo bo omne adwuma no so mutubi ye den ehun say Adiwe unusual. Abnantan complaining. Enti say behwe nsu egu ne so ehun hia. There's no need. So say wo kasa and obi bebusa say where did he? Just what did you know is to tell you say maybe there is a lack of energy or sugar to the brain. Enti what did you know is a good question. Maybe I also medidi anopa kura medidi more than usual. That's so adentin and enisu chino. The yen to me musa say what for your phone and no sense at your workplace. And ye ma tenase a men tenase na obi anka say fauti share o 9 tem say one of the dangerous things to do for somebody who is feeling dizzy.
Okay.
Unya the 9 ko share o ti ko share o 9 tem, the more I will worsen case, the more I will reduce oxygen and then energy or sugar to the brain. And the one here before more than they do no, I say why
okay. It's a dog. So when you switching and share form, so when the day you have to eat.
Yeah.
And then what else?
Woni niema bebre a wobetumi aye so bi so ani switching no e wo fie. Ne a wobe ni say bo ani pa no nko hospital.
Okay.
And people want to do something. That thing is very dangerous. Say bia I walk around a deal and I will faint here. excessive chills, excessive award to me and your dizziness and as wafinti and I say when it's beaching. Say be no nene ye obiaba wakoto pure water na prada.
They are the Korean names where
they are all reducing your temperature. Maybe your temperature has already gone down to subnormal. No, it won't do hospital. And the most often people who try to manage such things at home, they rather help to fasten you to enter the other world than to stay. Than to stay. Because Odipano Obeba Hospital, you're checking the temperature, and we know say your body temperature should be averagely between this and that. Before we who know subnormal. Subnormal is very dangerous.
Doctor, my time so in baby you bet me then come doing but send our it's a very lengthy conversation.
Exactly.
And we'll find time and bring you into the studio to continue this week, hopefully, and next week.
Many problem.
But Nyamin Shao. That is a man who is passionate about his job.
Yes.
Nyamin Shao. We've spoken a lot. Dr. Crispa has said a lot about dizziness. Ebia, when you chinwa, please, didi, because your brain needs energy to function. And more when you are feeling dizzy, because that can take you to the other world faster. A lot has been said. If you missed the beginning of the conversation, you can join when the show is over. You can go to our YouTube or Facebook and watch a recap of it. Into TV Xyz Ghana. If you go online, or sending a comment via then hashtag morning update, TV Xyz morning update. We'll bring Dr. Chris Panome again so that we continue the conversation. For now, Eric continues the morning update.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
Masa, jam Maria, I'm kind of because I am no more budget more than jam. I have a behind you. I'm very
HD logo the bottom. When you say HD local channels na mo gado. And so pictures here clear. They are 5 times better. As in other channels that could be show hormone. So go the mention mon tram rock why. Oh, what a pictures. What a picture. What do 8D plus decoder or multi TV and now electroland agent PR natural local channels now HD the here so better star 879 hash numbers from people box and now the advert 80 channels now.
Get an HD Plus decoder from now till the 9th of August for just $89.99 Ghana cedis and enjoy 3 months free subscription. Enjoy all the excitement and live sports action in the HD Plus Air Bosso Feely promo. Promo lasts from 7th June to 9th August 2021. Visit hd-plus.com.gh or call 024-243-9872 for more info.
Half a nose for good things.
If I cry na menyisika, etia ye mefui.
Ehin fa na menya bosia, edia tre medwuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre, me busia ato taxi fofo. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yemamwa kwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodoɔ bi te sɛ dwadifo abosia, ekuokuo bosia, susu account, and it does wɔ hɔ savings account, me bada chain savings account, and the keka ho. Suhum Rural Bank was 03422919896. Na won so what to me aka sɛ.
Suhum Rural Bank. Ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank. Enti me pa minie.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Welcome back. This is TV Xyz. This is Morning Update. We bring this to you every day from Monday to Friday, 6:30 to 9 a.m. We just call friends. Let's tune into TV Xyz. Of course, you can also follow us on social media, Facebook, YouTube, other social media handles. Just call friends and share the link. Like us so that anytime we are on air, at least you get a signal and you can follow our conversations. This morning, I have 2 members of parliament. They are very prominent in their constituencies. They are very influential in parliament. And I believe many of you, for the best I can do at this time is to give you a little profile of these 2 members of parliament so that if you don't know them, you can understand why their positions in parliament appear to be very interesting. Dr. Dixon Adumaku Kisi is the member of parliament for Anya Soutuom constituency. You remember that the Anya Soutuom constituency is the 9th most populous constituency, and therefore normally when people come from some of these constituencies, government place value on them because they bring the numbers to add on to the votes they have. Anya Soutuom has over 117,601 voters, eligible voters in that constituency. It's a stronghold of the MPP, and we also know that it covers areas outstretching to Weja Bawe. Dr. Kisi got 66,000. Okay. How is Anya Soutuom? Sometimes all the troubles or all the bad things you hear Anya Soutuom. Meanwhile, when you talk about tourism, they refer to your area.
Yes.
How interesting is Anya Soutuom?
Well, thanks for the initial intro. Mm-hmm. As you rightly said, it's a very strong hold of the MPP. And I'm taken up after our current Foreign Affairs Minister, Honorable Shalia Yokobuche. Mm-hmm. So she's shepherded the constituency for some time now. For good or bad, she decided that it was time to
just give a break to other young faces to come
that. And she's been a strong pillar of the constituency. But the constituency is nice. Our challenges are few, huge road infrastructure deficits, and also drainage issues. So those are our biggest challenges.
I can imagine the pressure that will come to your doorstep after the next 2 years, especially. That's when we'll be getting closer to another election, because you are privileged to have an influential person who's a cabinet member of parliament, very close to Akufo-Addo,
cabinet minister,
who can whisper to Akufo-Addo's ear. Yeah. And so many people would expect that you use that connection to bring development to your area. I guess so.
We'll do our possible best.
All right. So the other guest is also a doctor. He's a member of parliament. He represents the NDC, Dr. Salam Hamza Fatawu. Is that what?
Hamza Adam.
Hamza Adam Fatawu.
That's the MPP candidate's name.
So
it's Hamza.
You are the MP for Kumbungu.
Yeah, Hamza Adam.
Hamza Adam. Okay, Hamza Adam. Yeah. The information they gave him. Let me take the responsibility for not also cross-checking. You beat Ras Mubarak.
Yeah.
And Ras Mubarak is another. Was very loud in parliament.
Yeah.
And so you have to fill that shoe.
Yeah.
And in the northern region, I believe that in your area, you've had challenges in the past, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it a safe seat for the NDC?
Yeah. I think NDC is an NDC seat. We've won it over the years, except in 2013 during the by-elections, that CPP took it. And so I think CPP got the advantage because the party was so much divided in 2013, and that gave rise to CPP to get it for the first time. So otherwise, we've won it over the years.
Okay, so now let's have our conversation. Today we'll focus on two main things. Yesterday, the minority in Parliament addressed a number of questions that they thought the First Lady's office must answer. And I'm sure you are aware that it's about a spousal salary or allowance or all the controversies that come with it. We'll look at that later on this program. But first, the NDC addressed the news conference. They waved into the controversy over the alleged bribery allegation in which the Chief Justice's name has been mentioned. The NDC is making few demands. One, that the issue be given to an independent bipartisan commission or committee to investigate, because the Chief Justice, by virtue of his position, may have an influence, what they describe as conflict of interest, with regards to the role the police may play upon his petition to the Director General of CID to look into that. And so they want the police to stop. They want the General Legal Counsel to also stop, because they think that the Chief Justice, by virtue of his position, can influence investigations. They also suggested that because of public perception, it will be in the interest of the Chief Justice, Ghana as a corporate body, and everybody, if the public believes that the investigation into the allegation is thorough, fair, and without any prejudice. These are the issues they have raised. I'll play Asedun Ketia along the line. But let me start with you, Doc. First of all, you are a member of the NDC, and therefore you understand better why your General Secretary went to address the media.
Okay.
Some would say, are you not playing into the gallery of opportunists who may want to take advantage of an allegation?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. We all know that, you all know that the NDC is the biggest opposition party to speak with. Then you realize that NDC, if you look at our strength, our performance in the last elections, and also look at our strength in Parliament today, we have a call NPP in Parliament. So that tells you that NDC is a very strong political party and almost controlling. In other words, have the support of the entire, about half of the population of Ghana. So NDC's voice is very critical for the development of our country. It is important that NDC, even though NDC hasn't won, NDC mustn't go to sleep and allow Ghana to go on a path that will not help the development of our country and our future. So NDC definitely has a stake in the development of this nation, and so I think that the critical to the peace, the democracy of our country is very critical, and I think that I must commend NDC leadership for staging this conference. I think that the NDC's position on this matter is very clear, is very legitimate, because we think that, and it is not the first time that leaders or directors of corporations have been asked to step aside. Because I think even the government, they do it, the president does it. When there is a bribery allegation in a particular sector or agency, it is common for the president to come out to say that, oh, step aside, let's do the investigation. I think that it has happened a couple of times. And so NDC thinking has reflected on this issue. And then we feel that it is important that we get to the bottom of this issue. Because if you look at the judiciary is a pillar of our democracy. It's a pillar of our peace, and development of this country. And so for that matter, they see to the justice system of this country. And so it is important that anything the country must, or the population must have confidence in the judiciary. And any shift in confidence or in trust in the judiciary, in fact, is going to be is going to undermine our democracy. Okay. And that is important. All right. And that is why NDC came out.
So I will take this as your opening remark. Dr. Adomako Kisi, your opening remark on the position of the NDC as far as this is concerned.
Well, I think you said it almost better than I would say. One, opposition parties still have to act responsibly. And I believe that they are taking an opportunity to go low on an issue that I think needs further interrogation before you make, any statement. And I think they've done a premature move in terms of rushing to make a judgment. And there's one rule that always will hold, regardless of who's in power. You are not guilty until proven. And that mantra holds for everything. Every citizen in this country has that right, whereby you should not be judged before the facts are put to bear. And I think that even in addition, I'll go local. I like my local way of doing things. If you're a chief in this country, it is not any frivolous allegation that would lead to your destillment. There are things that merit. There are things that warrant some of these calls for destooling of a chief. And I think Doctor knows very well that it will be injurious to our institutions that any frivolous allegation, then we say, hey, move away.
At what stage do you describe an allegation as frivolous?
Well, my point is, in this case, the other side has not been heard, per what I understand. So I think it is premature. And then what is very important is that we are almost politicizing every action in this country now. And I think it is not good for democracy. There should be some things that we should look at and take an institutional, mindset, whereby we ask ourselves that, will this give us political gain and injure the institution? Or shall we look at the institution and the importance of the institution and how we have to protect it? We were there, and, not to be a bit ingenious, but one MP from the NDC made a similar allegation not too long ago that quote unquote, some justices had taken some money. And I think he withdrew his statement not too long ago. I mean, I think I don't want to mention names here, but it was so serious for a member of parliament to come out and make such an allegation. And I think that I'll beg the NDC fraternity that, listen, we're doing politics, but the strength of our political party still depends on the strength of the institutions in this country. We cannot demoralize the military and police service for gain of just politics. We should not demoralize and defame our justice system or the arm of justice just because we want to gain political grounds. We need to be fair, especially with our security systems, our security agencies, our justice, and more importantly, the executive arm as well. And I really will plead that we do very good politics in this country, whereby we are careful with how we manage institutions.
Okay, Doc, let me raise some key issues addressed by the NDC. First, the NDC says that, look, we appreciate the sensitive nature of this case.
Yeah.
At this stage, we cannot assume that we know who is right. We can't also suggest that somebody is wrong without investigating this. And in that presentation, Johnson Asiedu Nketia says that, look, because of the sanctity of the judicial service or our judicial system, we believe that people's confidence should not be based on hearsay, but proof. And therefore, because the CID has had the record of covering up or pretending...
that is where I have a problem.
I'll address the point.
I have a problem.
Now, you'd remember that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has raised concerns about issues they are investigating at the same time as far as CID is concerned. And so the public perception out there is that governments have been able to suppress the CID from operating independently.
I beg to differ.
And so that is the tangent with which the NDC says that either the Chief Justice steps aside or they set up an independent inquiry into what they should do. What is wrong with this?
Clearly,
what is politics about this?
Clearly, my concern here, which I need to reiterate, is that we are putting dust in the public domain. We are casting doubts on the efficacy, efficiency, and the serious work of our police service.
If you ask...
That is one.
If you ask the Chief Justice, for example, to step aside, is that best practice?
I wouldn't put it as best practice, and I think the people asking for it even makes it more concerning.
What is wrong?
We should rather maybe appeal to the.
You will speak. You will speak.
Okay,
but let me situate it this way.
Okay.
At what stage does somebody become irrelevant when it comes to national issues because he's a politician? At what stage? Because you are looking at the caliber of Johnson Asiedu Nketia. He's the general secretary of a party.
Correct.
He can become a minister tomorrow, and he has
a former MP.
He has a stake in nation building.
Correct.
When he speaks to an issue sensitive as this, what makes it wrong because he's wearing an NDC cap or an MPP cap?
I think that, one, like I said, it's premature, very premature. Too early to cast doubts on our police service and to say that, our CIDs cannot work effectively. And that is what I was saying, that, listen, more and more every day, it seems the NDC party is trying to tell Ghanaians that the security services are not working and they are not effective. And I really think that every opportunity they get, that is the line they are towing. And it is not good for our democracy. They need to be mindful of that. I mean, listen, somebody steals from a bank, security services, I understand. Everything can happen in this country. Once population is increasing, crimes will increase. But my point is that we are rushing and making allegations too quick. And I really think that the appropriate thing that they could have done is to write to the judiciary service expressing their concern, and that are things that can be done on a quiet. If you don't get the appropriate response, then you go all out. And I think that right now that they've gone really all out with a press conference, then you don't even give a reason to the judiciary service to even render what they are going to do. So you jab them even before they take an action. And I think that, there's always a reason why review of issues take time, so that the appropriate information comes to light. And I think that they are also suffering from one of the issues that I think is with the media. We rush to break news without carefully considering, carefully authenticating our sources and the content. And I'll plead with the NDC, I'm begging them that as much as we want to gain power, let's be mindful of the institutions we are casting doubt on.
Did you listen to Asedun Ketia yesterday?
Oh, I listened briefly, and my point again, that I think that they've rushed to make it.
I want us to listen to Asedun Ketia briefly, so that we can...
Has he even heard the judiciary, what they are saying?
So that we can situate the issues properly. I'll give you the opportunity to give us a brief response. He will come in while they are getting ready so that we listen to Asedun Ketia.
All right, thank you very much. I'm very surprised about some of the issues that are being raised by my honorable colleague. To think that this issue is premature is something I will seriously, dissociate myself from, because the issue is all over Ghana, and every Ghanaian is so much concerned about the happening in our justice system. The Chief Justice himself has not taken that issue lightly at all. He hasn't looked at it as something that is, tangential, as you are purporting, because the Chief Justice is calling on CID to take the issue up. He hasn't stopped there. He hasn't stopped there. He hasn't stopped there. He hasn't stopped there. He has also asked the general, legal counsel to also look into this issue.
So some actions are
and in the midst of all this, it only makes a lot of signs for him to be set aside, because he still oversees all that, and he has networked with all these institutions. So the best thing is for the Chief Justice to step aside and allow process. What is his fear? Why are you not wanting him to step aside? What is the fear? The thing is that Ghanaians are concerned. They want to get to the bottom of the issue and establish.
When Doc spoke, Doc said, let's allow institutions to work. Let's allow the police CID to prove that they have covered up.
They are incompetent.
That's the position.
You know what? Kumi Preko was a demonstration led by the sitting president. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. He has led series of demonstrations. Why was he doing all this? Because somebody must prompt the ruling government that something is going wrong. And we have always done it all over the years. So even when you were in opposition, even when you were in opposition, how can this be preemptive? When the Chief Justice himself has asked institutions to look into this issue, and the reason is that you will see that he has networked with all these institutions.
How do you see that? How do you claim that?
You think he cannot be in the chair. He cannot be in the chair.
Can I say something?
Okay.
You know, I'm a medical doctor.
Right.
It's almost like telling me that because I have influence on the laboratory staff. Mm-hmm. That I should be put aside, and then the laboratory staff do the investigations. I'm just making a point.
But Doc, this correlation can't work.
It can't work. And I told you.
What I see differently is that there is the fear that somebody's position can be used to influence.
People have...
For example, the General Legal Counsel.
Yeah.
If a committee has to investigate this, it must be done with nomination or recommendation by the person who chairs that committee. It is chaired by the Chief Justice. So the NDC says...
Do we even know if he will recuse himself?
The question is, the NDC's issue, Doc, if you would appreciate what Asedun Ketia suggested, was that we just want the public to be given that guarantee, or the sub-region to be given that guarantee that, look, what we are doing is not for parochial interest. I want us to listen to him. Then maybe all of us can be in a better position to speak to the subject.
Let me listen to General.
We hold the opinion that the transparent approach of a public inquiry is the best way to go. This approach, we believe, is in the interest of the Chief Justice and the lawyer who both stand accused, and the Chief Justice and his accuser. The likelihood for an impartial and balanced investigation by them into this matter will be quite minimal, so long as the Chief Justice remains at post. We therefore believe that the General Legal Council should stay its hands off over this matter pending the final determination of the issue by independent state organizations clothed with requisite authority to do so. Best practice will require that the Chief Justice sets aside temporarily until the matters are looked into and a clear outcome emerges, and we believe this instance calls for such an action.
Okay, so Doc, what is political about this, and is this best practice according to the demands he made?
No, you see, let me add one thing. If they had one of the civil society organizations come out and say this, it will be somewhat apolitical. It will be a states-related issue. And I think that sometimes some of these arguments should be left for civil organizations or, non-governmental agencies who are also part of the democracy we have. Now, wherever Asiedu Nketia talks, be it at the NDC headquarters, be it at Makola Market, be it at Sumanguru, wherever in this world of ours, when a person in the position of Asiedu Nketia talks, even if he says drink water every day, it is political. That's just pure politics because of the position he holds.
Doc, I want to interrogate this issue about Asiedu Nketia. It is political. Let us not politicize it. You're a member of parliament, isn't it?
Exactly.
Why did you become a member of parliament?
I'm in parliament to serve my community.
And I believe that you rode on the ticket of politics.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
And so, whether today or in future,
yes,
because of who you are,
correct,
whenever you speak to national issues, people should take it serious.
That is why.
So why are you saying that what Asiedu Nketia is saying must not be taken serious?
I'm not saying he shouldn't be taken serious.
That's what you have said.
What I'm saying is that he's doing something that is premature. He should wait. He should just...
No, the reason why it may appear as if I am taking you on the issue you raised was that you said if a civil society organization had said this, that
it would be less.
That language he used would have been relevant. But the fact that
I'm not saying that what he said is not relevant.
But you said if
it is premature.
A CSO had presented
it is premature.
Okay.
You understand? And my point is that clearly some appropriate actions are being taken. And as we said here, we don't even know if CJ will recuse himself. So I really think that it is in the interest... there's a reason why when they take jury, they ban them from watching TV, so as to not be swayed
influenced by
what people say on television. And what I'm trying to get at is that, listen, there's a process, what we call due process. And in that due process, when there's inclination that something is going amiss, you fire. I understand. But here's a case that they are doing a preemptive thing when due process is on course.
Now, Doc, somebody sent me a text, and the suggestion is that the NDC has lost an election petition case. Yeah. And so they have been waiting for a fine opportunity to chew the Chief Justice. And that's basically what you are doing. How do you respond to that perception?
I think that perception is wrong. And if we dwell on issues of that nature, nobody will work. Does it mean that, I contested and won, he contested and won? Does it mean that the ideas of my opponents, even when those ideas will help develop the constituency, I shouldn't accept them? No. So I think it is far from that. But the thing is that we are looking at the issue, you know, as an independent issue. The most important thing is that if you put the issue on table, is it an issue that merits stakeholder consent or otherwise? Then you realize that that issue is very critical. Ghanaians are concerned. If it were to be, the institutions sometimes depend on the public reaction to perform. For example, you notice that the committees that were set up, and even in Parliament when we set up a committee, a joint committee of Interior and Defence to go and look into the wire issue, among other issues, security issue, you realize that it is not for nothing that we are doing all this. We do that because we want to support institutions that are directly working on that. And so if we don't come out, we have to. Recently, NDC came out and staged a demonstration. All these things will prompt the government to know that, no, things are not right, are not going right on this so and so path. So government should set up. So when people come out with this, you know, we help the institutions to function, because they know that if they don't, the outcome of those decisions will affect the public.
Now, Doc, I asked him a question many may see as controversial, i.e. the NDC's election petition case and so on.
With one MP still making an allegation.
No.
You understand?
Yeah, but Doc, I was putting a question to you. The question is this.
Yeah.
The judiciary arm of government is one of the most influential, biggest, and instructive as far as good governance is concerned.
Absolutely.
And the president of this country has pledged to fight corruption. And many would have wished that this serious allegation would have attracted a comment from him and straight directives to show the speed with which he wants to fight corruption. The president is quiet. And NPP proponents appear to be walking away from what people see should be the best practice by saying that the Chief Justice should step aside and allow the institutions to be free to work. Is it that the NPP is afraid and want to protect or defend the Chief Justice?
No, I think injustice...
Or you see him as one of your members?
Listen, injustice, there's nothing like speed justice. There's nothing. You know, and I really think that it is actually good that the president hold on and be sure about the case before he talks. And that is what I'm only pleading with the NDC, that listen, when issues happen, and let me cite an example. NDC, as you just rightly said, went on a you know, something they would say demonstration based on a story that now has been played out to be flawed.
What story?
I mean, if I'll go to you know, the death recently in Kumasi, Ejura, and you know how unfortunately they mixed the incident with Fix the Country. I'm just saying, and all that went on, and the rush to cast doubt on the security services and what they do.
Then this demonstration, you know, was March for Justice, and it was not about death.
Well, they branded it partly.
Okay.
As part of the demand.
Reasons why they went on demonstration. Yes. Okay.
And I mean, we all know. But my point here is that, listen, in as much as we may be fighting, let's make sure that the institutions are running well. Let's protect the institutions. Because you know what's funny? When and if NDC should come into power, they will need these institutions. When and if MPP will come into power or is in power, we will need these institutions. And we should try as much as possible to encourage the public to have faith in institutions. If we don't, if right now NDC damages the institutional perception and they come, is it when they are going to then repair? It's very important.
Now, so
very
if the demand is that,
that is even more,
and we are all speaking the same language, we want to protect the integrity of the institution.
Yeah.
We want to ensure that public perception about the institutions are not dented. And one school of thought is that if the Chief Justice recuses himself, it will make the public believe that yes, the institutions are free to work. There's another school of thought that don't go there, let the institutions work. Which one will make the people more suspicious?
I can almost guarantee you that the CJ will not sit on this matter. He will recuse himself. It is just the norm in the judicial practice. Somebody cannot, when you're defending a case, can you be the same judge for the case? It's not possible. That is rule 1 in judiciary service. So I'm even wondering why that the first rule, like if you should enter legal services, you cannot be the judge and a defense lawyer for the same case. It's not possible. It's not possible. And we all know that. So why then do we want to cast that, quote unquote, smoke on the judicial services? It's not good. Because he knows, you know, and the NDC knows that there's no way that CJ will be sitting on this matter. It's not possible.
Now, the CID...
It's not possible.
The CID and investigations of people in government has a track record. At least, if you talk
perceived.
And I'm making reference to what has influenced the perception about the track record.
Yeah.
You remember the Kwesi Nyantakyi case?
That's one.
You remember the allegations Kendi Japan made about Kendi Japan made about the former deputy chief of staffs and Charles Bisius and so on. All these cases involving people in government that the CID has followed. Have you heard conclusion to any of these?
Oh, Nyantakyi, I thought recently there was even a judgment made.
No, I'm saying that. Have you heard conclusions?
There's been a judgment made.
It was analysis, you know.
No, but there's been a judgment made. Just recent. So are we going to say? And you know what hurts me?
No. What the question is that.
Do you know what hurts me?
No.
Listen, I would almost tell the NDC to come and tell us that Opuni's case has taken too long. They should come and tell us that. Opuni's case, it has taken too long. They should come and tell us that.
I don't know why you are bringing this in.
No, I'm just saying that this is another case.
You see, the question I asked was that...
I'm making a point.
The question I asked...
So is Opuni also in government right now?
He's being prosecuted.
But is he in government?
No.
How come that has not taken 2 months?
The issue is not about... The issue is about the outcome of an investigation that started 2-3 years ago we don't know.
When did Opuni's case start? Soon after the NDC lost the election, which is now about 5 years.
I am not speaking to... The question is not about... The question is not about prosecution. It's about investigation that starts, but we never see the end of it. That is what is fueling the perceptions.
Evidence to
what I'm saying is that...
Okay, now...
You know, I'm just opposing...
See, the question I was asking, which in my opinion has not been fully answered, was that public interest is on how this sensitive issue is addressed. And the public is saying that it looks as if the president is quiet. It looks as if people who are asking for certain things to be done are not getting it from people who support government.
Will we sacrifice justice?
Is there anything we are afraid of? Are you afraid of anything?
Will we sacrifice justice for perception?
No.
Because then, if you are accused of murder and the public perceives you are a murderer, then you should be jailed for murder.
Justice right on perception. Justice
just 1 minute
right
to rebut.
You know, justice may ride on perception, but it's not the ultimate. If that was the case, then a lot of perceptions would have ended up in jail. Because I would be walking there and say, I perceive that you are so and so, you've committed this crime, and then we rage, we mount a post and make noise on perception, and then you are jailed. But justice doesn't work that way. Justice works based on facts. Justice works based on thorough review, and thorough review has its limitations in terms of time. It also has this, need for careful scrutiny. So your belief is that the NDC is only exploiting this, and all the demands are irrelevant. Their record is a party that could not tell us that. Listen, the numbers were this. They only on stomach whatever hinges or perception thought that they won an election. That is their record.
What are your suspicions about the posturing of the MPP?
I think that Dr. Kisi and his team are rather the people who want to go political on every issue. this is something, let me ask the question. Is the Chief Justice an angel? The Chief Justice is just a human being like you and I.
It is the position he holds.
The Chief Justice can corrupt because he is a human being. So if there are allegations around him, let's allow it to work. We are saying that he cannot preside over the justices to uncover justice.
He will not preside.
He cannot. I think that if I were the Chief Justice, I will not even wait for the president to ask me to step aside.
Okay, so
because in developed nations,
he can recuse
within 24 hours, he could have. He cannot do that.
So I'm in the studio with Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi, is the MP for Anya Soutuum, and Honorable Dr. Hamza Adam is also the MP for Kumbungu. I'm enjoying the conversation. Once in a while, I try to push them to the wall. Now, let's move on to the spousal salaries or allowances and so on and so forth. Now, Doc, did you expect Rebecca to refund the money? And how do you react to the response to the action she took?
Well, this has been a very interesting moment in Ghana's history. Yesterday I wrote something. I said certain things should be eaten in the dark. You know, since I became Member of Parliament, eating kebab in town now almost seems to be unacceptable by some people in my entourage. But I think that it's unfortunate. What I think the government was trying to do is to be more accountable to the Ghanaian people, in the sense that, quote unquote, these allowances have been ongoing for several years. Somebody came to meet it, and then he says, listen, let's write something. Let's make sure that everybody is aware of what they are getting, which they are getting already. But let's almost, it's like legalizing your marriage, making it a civil marriage. You've been living with this woman for 6 years, you have children, and now you want to legalize. And now that you are telling the public that, listen, let's legalize this thing, let's bring it in the public domain so that we can all talk about it, then you get a reversal and all these things about it. And I really think that, one, I am happy about the way public has responded, and two, it is also good that this thing that was in the dark is now in the light for everybody to see. And what even makes me more happy is that, listen, obviously, other former first ladies and second ladies have partaken of this meal. It wasn't a meal strictly for just Mama Rebecca. And that is where I think that sometimes our other colleagues make a mistake.
Now, some have said that the MPP is struggling to find a nice way to rationalize an illegality. For example,
the allowances are illegal?
What the public is saying, and most people have said, I believe MPP may admit, is that the recommendation itself was flawed because it breaches the Constitution. For the Attorney General's Department, the advisors of government, etc., to see the recommendation because they will see it first. And then the clause that was not part of the terms of reference but was added to, obviously, should be of interest to the executive before they take it to Parliament.
Exactly.
And so if they took that illegality to Parliament and subsequently went ahead to pay and backdate, if that is what we are understanding has been refunded, you don't come back and try to explain that I was trying to renew my marriage or legitimize my marriage when the process itself was wrong.
The process, I must admit that I think the process could have been better. I have to admit that. But I'm thinking in totality that, listen, I am happy that today we are here talking about, you know, remuneration to our first and second ladies. And I really think that it is good for our democracy, and it is good that it has come up. And we may find other instruments or ways and means legally to at least be able to pay for their commute and all these other state-required duties that a First Lady performs. You and I know that if there's a foreign, country person visiting with his wife, you don't expect that his wife doesn't meet your First Lady, and
But the state takes care of that.
I'm just saying. So it is important that all of these things are handled. I mean, she has an office of her own. I mean, and I don't think that we would expect in that capacity for her to pay out of her pocket to run the First Lady's office. So I really think that it is good that today we are all talking about this.
But you see, the difference in here, I'll come to you, Dr. Hamza, briefly. Let me spend some 3 minutes with Doc, and then I'll come to you. Now, the difference here is that the office of the First Ladies or the Second Ladies are being run and taken care of by the state.
Correct.
The staff there and so on are taken care of by the state.
Yeah.
The issue of contention now is whether it was allowance or it is salary. Now, this is what many are saying today, that the posturing as captured in the letter by the First Lady was an angry woman who was reacting to attacks by a section of the public. And so I've refunded the money. I don't even need it anymore. I am not the one who asked it to be approved. And the minority is saying that even what you have brought us, there's no guarantee that that is all. So let's go and audit. Brief response, and let me take some time with Dr. Hamza Adam.
I also read Mama Lordina's own, and she smartly says that she's looking for a powerful accountant to help calculate. Help what? Calculate the amount due the state, which means that the repercussions has affected all the First Ladies and Second Ladies. I'm yet to see our former Vice President's wife's letter. I haven't seen that, so I won't comment. But what is obvious, I mean, I really thought that some of our women organizations in this country are going to champion this thing. I'm waiting because the way they talk about equal rights and all these,
What is equal rights here, Doc?
Okay. No, my point is that, is quote unquote like a women's issue.
And you don't see that as running to hide behind that umbrella.
Interestingly, most of the women organizations, I think, have been a bit mute for my liking. But let me say this: Ghanaians sometimes we can be a bit, hypocritical, in the sense that I personally don't like comparing to Brits and Afghanistan and Americans and not. My point is that we have some culture in this country, and per our culture, our constitution has to be tailored carefully to the culture we have, so that what makes Ghanaian sense should be felt in our constitution. It's very important.
Okay, I will let you advance that further. Now, Doc, you've listened to him carefully. I put in 1 or 2 questions just to dig further. Your response.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to react to this issue. Let me first of all put it on record that a lot of Ghanaians are not aware that...
We're not?
No, I'm coming.
Oh, okay.
Are not aware that this particular spousal salary was passed by the 7th Parliament and not the 8th Parliament. They are not aware. So let me put it on record that this Parliament has passed that they should pay them salary. Happened in the 7th Parliament.
What is significant about that?
The significant is that the dynamics of the 7th Parliament is different from the dynamic of this 8th Parliament.
Numbers.
In terms of numbers. And this also happened towards the end of that particular 7th Parliament. And in December, their last days, when most people were in the field campaigning, and their eyes were not on Parliament issues, then it was sneaked in and just passed quietly. And I have read about the discussions, and I must comment Honorable Kennedy Ajapong for fiercely opposing this in that particular discussion to pass it. Honorable Mutaka also came out and spoke against it vehemently, but at that time they didn't have the numbers to push the issue through. And so I must let Ghanaians know this. The other thing is that first ladies are very, very important for us. They are our mothers. They give comfort to our president to come out and work for the nation. No doubt about that.
I'm confused.
They give comfort. The comfort can be in many times.
Or what?
They,
is it the way he's describing comfort?
The comfort is I'm talking about in totality.
Okay.
Peace of mind. And if the president doesn't get sound sleep, he comes in to set and he will mislead the entire country.
Now, why should I pay for somebody's duty?
I'm just building. I'm just building a background.
To perform.
I'm just building a background. So what I'm saying is that is very, very important. That is very, very important for them to do. However, we all know that over the years they have received some allowances. Now they are seeking to let us treat them as Article 71 category of work
yeah. So the women involved say that we didn't ask for it; they gave it to us. We have returned the money. We are not happy about the public commentary, and the NDC says that those of us who have taken the case to court, we will pursue it to make sure that it is reversed.
I don't have the problem with my mothers. My mothers, I don't have a problem with them. They have done the needful by returning the money. They have done the needful, which I think I will commend them for doing that. Because that means that they feel the temperature of the public, which is good. They have demonstrated that they are mothers. They have a listening ear. That one is gone. But what I'm saying is that I think that it is not proper for them to be handled the way they have handled the issue. They are not supposed to be treated as if they are also part of the Article 71 category. And that is what this particular development is trying to address, which is not possible. We don't have to do that. And this is happening at the time when the country is very, very hot. People are struggling to meet their livelihood.
Post-COVID.
Not only COVID. COVID can't.
Post-COVID.
For COVID, post-COVID is not only Ghana. It's not only Ghana which is experiencing that. So it is happening at a time when food prices are hitting the ceiling. It is happening at a time where people, even the seat of the government, cannot meet basic requirement of the country. We just got we are just hearing that the first quarter for project, have been paid. Last quarter of last 2020 wasn't paid. First quarter not paid. Second quarter not paid. We are going to third quarter. It's just this week we are hearing that we are getting the fourth quarter. How do we develop? How will assemblies function? A lot of issues, challenges are numerous. Mm-hmm. So I think that for the public to be struggling to survive, and then to hear that, these are the people who are already considered to be okay, are now going to be given additional payment, and even paid, and the arrears dated back as at 2017. Then you will see that cumulatively, if you look at what is going to the First Lady, almost about 900,000. And so I think that when people hear about this and they go to sleep without food, they will definitely be angry. And I think that I'm happy that they have responded. I want to believe that the government will take it up and then iron it up so that we can
bring finality to it.
Now,
let's spend the last 15 minutes looking at Nana Akufo-Addo and his tour of the upper region. He has moved to Upper West. Yesterday, he addressed the chiefs and people of Wa, and the headline on the center spread of the Daily Graphic says, put military brutalities behind you, the president urges Wa residents. And the president, who was given a warm reception, actually apologized to Na Hussein Useidu Pelpo the fourth at the start of his 2-day tour of the Upper West region. And apparently, we all know about the brutalities. Some are saying it has come too late. Others are saying it was very responsible of him to go to the people directly and speak to them. Let's start with you, Dr. Dixon Adomako Kisi. Do you see this response as cosmetic or timely because the people of Wa need it from the president?
Well, I must first of all start with, Honorable Nitwo and then also Interior Minister. I think right after the incident, they jumped on and put some measures in, which was to demote some officers and even arrest some. And I think that was, the initial response that was given to this issue when it happened. And the ministers are authorized by the president to take action in his stead at all points in time. And Interior and Defense, I think, came in appropriately with stern action to put them in order. Now, it so happens that the president is on tour in the northern part of our country. And I'm happy that, one, this statement was not being made from Jubilee House. Two, this statement was made on the soil of Wa, or shall I say Wararians, I've thought carefully about all of this, and I think that the president spoke from the heart, and it's not cosmetic, and I think that some appropriate actions have been even taken prior to,
which is very instructive. But I think what is feeding into this perception, and whether the people of Wa have accepted it or will accept it, is another issue, because some say the president has not shown how sensitiveness towards other related issues. Ejura, for example, you look at Techiman South, some of these incidents happen, he's virtually silent. So it should not be that he has his planned visit to the area to make it look like he's speaking to the issue, because he has not demonstrated that in the past.
I think we need to be mindful of the fact that if our institutions are working, the president necessarily does not have to comment on every police case in this country, every legal case in this country. And it is actually inappropriate at times, because his comments might influence all the authorities that are working on the issue, in the sense that it might influence them negatively and put the indefensible in trouble. And I really think that...
And is that leadership?
No, let me.
Some look at leadership, some look at direction, some look at authority, and some want to look at that authority and the signal to the people.
I'll ask ourselves, has the IGP spoken about it? Has the Interior Minister spoken about it? Has the Defense spoken about it? Have they taken some actions? Have they done those things? And after they have done, if the president comes in, I really would beg, yes, I want to hear my president all the time. Look at the many recordings he did with the issue of COVID. He overdid it, actually. And I really think that we should expect our president to talk on issues from time to time.
When necessary.
From time to time.
Okay, so Doc, how do you speak to the issue? He has apologized.
All right.
Obviously, the commentary says the Wana was equally very happy and felt that he had shown respect by coming there to speak to them.
Okay, so let me say that the this issue feeds into general security issues of this nation, because you will see that it looks like the country is leaking. It's leaking in terms of the issues of security. The impunity, the level of insecurity in the country is alarming. And I will want to appeal to the president to set it up. If he's sleeping, he should wake up, because the security issues are, becoming, somebody will put it, unbecoming. I think that it is important that the president has visited the as part of his tour of the northern regions, working to visit northern regions. So it isn't that it is the issue, why he should have taken to the place.
He specifically chose Upper West and Wa because he wanted to talk to the people directly. I know he's granted, or it was part of the program to grant radio interviews to speak to the people directly. Is that not enough to let the people feel like he cares?
I think that I'll be surprised if such a statement was made. The reason is that he didn't start the northern tour from Wa. If indeed that was the main reason why he was going to Wa, to the northern sector, I'm sure that would have been the first point of call.
But he doesn't also need to choose Wa as his first stop to give an indication that I am here because of you, because he's not going to be in other parts of the 5 regions in the north.
So that could not have been the reason why he chose northern to visit northern region. Otherwise, because it doesn't carry that weight. To have gone around so many places and then end up in Wa, cannot definitely be the reason why he is visiting the northern region. I think it's not so. But in a whole, the voice of the president is very powerful. It's good. I am happy that he has also, spoken about it. Interior Minister, Defense Minister, they have also taken some steps. I was happy, for the first time that I saw that the Defense Minister came to Parliament and then read out the actions they have taken so far in trying to handle the perpetrators. And and I think that is the way to go. That is what Ghanaians are waiting for. We want to see same in Ejura. We want to see same in Ayawaso and other places. We want to see them taking action. But they should not wait when, the voiceless people, those who cannot talk, the less influential, the less powerful people, when they are involved, then they are taking action against them. When other people who are influential, are in this situation, then everybody is just going around it like a circle.
Okay, let me do a few text messages and then you'll wrap up with your concluding statement. This one says, hey, I joined a network called Savage and, okay, you are talking about, this one says, Rebecca, if you are not, and I'm sure you are referring to Her Excellency, the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, if you're not ready, if you're not greedy and selfish, when your husband told you you were going to get, I wouldn't take direct attacks, because this is not fair to the First Lady. And so I'll stop reading. Stephen in Kwabenya, bear with us. We want to run away from direct attacks on personalities. Lordina Mahama should refund all the allowances paid to her back as simple as ABCD. We don't want any explanation, Biara. Greetings from, and this one came from Inshiraba Anel Kase. Greetings to Alhaji Labaran Yakubu Bari, sent this text message. This one says, Ma, Rebecca Akufo-Addo and Hajia Samira Baumia have done the honorable thing and they have shown respect to the good people of Ghana. The text message is very long, so I'll truncate it somewhere there. This one says, good morning, Brother Eric and your panel. Dr. Adumako actually doesn't know what to talk about and he's going around the tangent of dirty politics. Reverend Daniel from Sierra Leone, you sent this text message. God bless your brother Eric and good work you are doing for Mother Ghana. Thank you to people at Sierra Leone watching us on TV. Hi, doctor should not be talking about Opuni, and he's not talking about 500 excavators, PDS, 2.8 million rented jet, blah, blah, blah. Doc, it looks like some people, I'm sure yours will come very soon. This one says, I'm down below from Bremso. The issue of CJ's bribery allegation is worrying, even if it is not true. The route chosen by CJ is just to uncover it because the police are fond of doing suspicious investigations. There should be a public inquiry into this, and that's the message you sent. This one says, ask the NPP MP whether the members were present when ask the NPP MP whether he remembers when the president said he doesn't have confidence in the police. You remember that during one of the campaign periods. So they are justifying Asedun Ketie's concern. Any comment?
It's in order.
This one says, Nanado's name will go down in history as the mother serpent of corruption, and it goes on and on, nepotistic president. It came from Mystic Wonder inside Insawam. Edu Ejiri sent this text message. I'll do 4 more and then I'll come back to you guests. Hi, patriots. A chattering bird build no nest. The Chief Justice saga is an allegation, so NDC should give us a break. Hashtag hate can't win. Chairman Shimadia all the way. This one is from Rahim Gargantuan, the special one. Abdul Basit Zongo Pioneer sent this. I thank Allah that we have all the best hardworking first and second lady like Mama Rebecca and Samira. Yes, they have shown maturity by refunding the money. What about the former first ladies? This you also send this. This one says, loan at South Africa. It says we should pray for South Africa because the place is burning. Last 2. From Dr. Abedi Kwadaso. It says that thank God First Lady Rebecca has dropped 899,000 check as pressure mounts, and Lord Mahama will do same immediately after she's prepared to face the public. Boshaba Amnesty says, God bless the First Lady Mama Rebecca to live longer for the love and care she has shown to Mother Ghana. Last one says, the First Lady's account must be proved. MPP communicators are suffering defending the most successfully incompetent government led by Nana Akufo-Addo. Honorable Davido and Joshua Kamba, greetings to you. Mustafa from Lower Manyak Krobo sent this. Okay, so we are wrapping up. We have 3 minutes to go. COVID is real. Our cases are going up. As we speak, I understand that the Ga East Hospital is running out of oxygen. We also know that the ICU at Ridge Hospital, we got information that is full. At this stage, we can only wrap up advising the public or sharing concern about anything that may not be going right. We understand that 1.2 million doses of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines are coming in by next week. We know only 300,000 people plus have had double jabs, and about 600,000 have had only 1 single dose. We are not hearing about AstraZeneca. As members of Parliament, any concluding remark, advice on this concern I've raised? Let me start with you, Dr. Hamza Adam.
All right, thank you very much. I think before I go into that, let me just a small reaction to some of the text messages that came in. Let me say that they shouldn't mix salary with allowances. What Her Excellency, Mama, Rebecca and co, what they are returning, it's not the allowances they have taken over the years. It's just arrears of the new salary they are giving them. So the allowances they have been taken over the years stay with them. So if other previous first ladies, had taken allowances, you cannot be calling for them to refund. They are referring areas of. So let's put that on.
The COVID context. Issue. 30 seconds.
Now,
wrap up.
I think the COVID issue is so scary because it's off and on, and it looks like it's not over. It's not getting over immediately. Anytime soon. So we will appeal to public to try and let's uphold the directives. That the safety directive that we have been advised, protocol that we have been advised to.
Let me go to Dr. Dixon Adomako Kisi. You have 30 seconds wrap up with any message.
Oh, okay. So I'll plead with Ghanaians COVID is real. Some had doubts about taking the vaccination. Please, is our next best defense against the disease. And I'll plead with you, when the next batch comes, go for it. It will protect you. It will keep you alive. And that is very important. And I think we should all encourage government to increase the funding for the vaccination, because it's very important. And our health is our wealth as a nation, so that productivity is not brought to a halt. And many countries are relaxing their restrictions because they've vaccinated a large number of people. And that's what I'm pleading with Ghanaians. And in as much as we've been vaccinated, I have had the 2 doses, but I have my face mask on because I'm being extra careful. And I'll wash my hands once I leave here and use a hand sanitizer. So I'm pleading with Ghanaians, let's continue to take this very serious. It is not an illness that you want to do matra in makwe. No, this one is real.
And it can knock you down.
It will take you out.
Okay. So Dr. Dixon Adomako Kisi is the Member of Parliament for Anya Soutum constituency, say, a member of the NPP. We are so grateful to him for honoring our invitation, and he has added value to the conversation this morning. Honorable Dr. Hamza Adam is the MP for Kumbungu. He represents the NDC, and he has also added his weight to what we have done this morning. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure your constituents have watched you.
Yes.
And subsequently, we'll bring you here again another time.
All right.
All right.
So we also thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. And then we say good morning to everyone, especially the people of Kumbungu.
Okay. Thank you. We are so grateful. Bye for now.
Nice.